the mayor of Louisville, Greg Fischer.
Well, good morning, everybody, and I have the unenviable task of following Tori here as a speaker here, so let's give it up for Tori one more time. You know, one of the things we're talking about this morning are characters, so I'm going to embarrass her for a little while. When you have somebody that's rowed across the ocean, not many people have done that before, right? So they deserve a big sculpture somewhere in town. And so there's these concepts being floated around on how we're going to do that for you, Tori, someday. And one of the concepts is of a woman on a rowboat with a big wave crashing over the front of it. And there's another one of a university president reading to a small child on a bench. So clearly, the one that we should go on the waterfront down by the rowing center is the one of the rowboat, right? That's what this woman is known for. She says, no, I want my legacy to be somebody that's made the world a better place by teaching people. So I just think that's so strong when you told me that, Tori. So today I've been asked to speak for a city's vision for innovation and collaboration, and it's wonderful to have Signature as part of the community because you guys are bringing another dimension to our city based on your unique culture that I really think is at the leading edge of what modern companies are going to be all about, a place where people can realize their full potential as human beings. So the question is, the most basic question is, why is innovation even needed? You know, and I would contend that if you don't have a constant state of growth, you're going to die. And why do you need to grow? Because no great company exists if you're not growing, because growth creates a platform for you all to realize your potential, not just for you as individuals, but for your team and obviously your patients. I think we were all put on the face of the earth to make the world a better place. And if you don't think that, think about the cycle of the seasons. You can see springtime starting right now here in Louisville. So you're starting to see the flowers, you know, push up out of the ground. You're starting to see the buds on the trees. It's the natural way to grow, to get better. Never does Mother Nature say when springtime comes, well, I think I'm going to take a pass. You know, we're supposed to grow. We're supposed to go through these periods of rebirth, of innovation. So it's a natural way to do so that we can all be healthy and have an organization and individuals that are realizing our potential. So potential to me is a byproduct of innovation. So in a corporate sense, how do we systemize innovation? So people, I'm the mayor now, but people say, Greg, you sound like a PowerPoint presentation. Okay, well, I've been a businessman for 30 years, so I'm trying to go through a reform process right now. But I've talked about how do we systemize innovation throughout my business life. So I always say, well, what's a job? People look at me funny and say, what do you mean, what's a job? What do you do? In a job, you have your daily work, you have your continuous improvement work, and you have your breakthrough work. So the job is really three components. Most people think about jobs just something that you show up and you do day in and day out. Well, if that's all you're doing, you're going to die. And so this is where the role of improvement, continuous improvement comes in, and breakthrough comes in as well. So a question that each of us needs to ask ourselves is, what percentage of your time do you spend in those three categories? Daily work, improvement work, and breakthrough work. And if you're overweight in the daily work, again, you're going to die. So you got to systemize innovation. How do you resource your own time and your organization for breakthrough on a day in and day out basis? So this whole concept of breakthrough, how do we redefine ourselves or redefine our organizations in a brand new way so that you're constantly growing? Because if all you're doing is working on daily work, it's kind of like flatlining. You're going to die, ultimately. Improvement, slight progress. But guess what? The world is improving faster than you are frequently, and that's the gap that grows. So that's where we need to hit this innovation and breakthrough as part of what our daily work is. What you all are doing here in the city with your Center for Innovation is a perfect example of how an organization systematically approaches breakthrough. You resource it separately. You get it out of the day-to-day flow, because when you're in the day-to-day, reality brings us all to a point where we just got to get through. Sometimes we're just trying to drain a swamp. but if you can resource your breakthrough separately like you all have done with your Center for Innovation, this is the most successful way to systemize breakthrough. So, congratulations on that. Now, question would be, how do you choose where to innovate? It's where I think you've got to answer the question, where can you be best in the world? Best in the world, because that really is the value proposition that you have that says a customer is going to come to you and decide to give you money over somebody else because for some reason they think that you're absolutely the best in the world at what you're going to do. So what is that value proposition? It's a great journey when you go on that because you're pursuing this idea that you can be the best in the world at something. And that's a liberating thought for a lot of people. Some folks never thought about it before. It's like, if I'm going to do something, why not spend that time to be the very best in the world? Doesn't take any more time. You're going to be alive a certain number of days, a certain number of hours. So say, I'm going to go on this journey and explore what it really means to be the best. And all these avenues and doors open for you when you do that because you're fearlessly going down this path of saying, this isn't just good for me, but where I find it's really great is for my family, for my church, for my company, for my neighborhood. Because it takes a certain amount of courage to say, I'm going to be the best. Now, it also means you're saying, I don't mind failing, but fail forward. You know, fail in an area where you're going to learn something from. And when you go through that process, say, that was pretty good, because I'm stronger now. I've got some new lesson that I've learned here. So a lot of it is you got to get rid of your baggage, and you got to look forward. Don't care how you look, but you're going to dedicate yourself to being the very best in something. And then you experience really what I think is one of the elixirs of life, and that's joy in learning. You know, everybody's born with joy in learning. You see that when little kids crawl and they're trying to say their first words. And then some of us are lucky. You have it from cradle to grave. But a lot of people, for one reason or another, that joy in learning is gone. So all of you all as leaders have an opportunity with the people that you work with to make sure that joy in learning is alive with the people that you work with the people that you take care of every day. It's one of the greatest gifts that you can give to people because it shows them the unlimited possibilities that they have. So what's a mayor doing talking about all this stuff? Because as a city, we've got to say, what's our strategy for innovation? Where are we the very best in the world? And so in order for us to grow, we've got to say we're best in the world at advanced manufacturing or new automotive. We're one of the leading centers of the world in this area. We're one of the best in the world at logistics. And these are all areas of innovation where we grow tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of jobs around those. We've got to think, what areas are we the best in the world at? We're the best in the world. We have more companies headquartered here in the aging care, long-term health care space than any place in the world. It's pretty good. It's a good spot to be right now. So we're going to grow hundreds of thousands of jobs around that as well. So lifelong wellness in aging care is a strategic advantage. It's one of the value propositions for our city right here. So let's close by thinking about collaboration. How do we bring together innovation on both a personal sense and a city sense? I call it a voyage of entrepreneurship for like-minded travelers, where we seize the opportunities and then we create alignment for community success. When we line up our economic development strategy, our educational institutions, our foundations, nonprofits, and the government. So it's just like on a business sense, when you align for execution and success, we've got to do that on a community sense as well. In the end, bottom line is we all win or lose as a team. We certainly intend to win here as a community. You guys are a big part of that. I appreciate the opportunity to speak with you this morning, and I look forward to enjoying the journey with you. Thank you.